Hello everyone, my name is Ravi and I'm an artist and a member of the design team at the Graphics Theory. So this is a little journal that I made and it really celebrates my love for vintage photographs. I have a slight obsession with photographs and I was really pleased to see so many photos available on the membership website. So I decided to print them and use them in a variety of different ways and incorporate them in my journal. The journal is called One Family and it comes in a little tin box, like a rusty old box that I found, and that is because the journal is bursting with pages. There are 3 signatures that are stitched onto a soft fabric, like canvas kind of fabric, that has been stained with rust and tea, and I left the cover blank because I thought it could be stitched, it could be collaged, it could be painted. I just thought leaving it neutral would be my choice for this journal, but there's a lot going on inside. So the bundles that I used are all the Instant Ancestors bundles, the Antique Portraits and the DG People, and inside the pages are stained with the same technique with rust and tea, and there's a variety of techniques used. So this is an image transfer that I made and there will be a few throughout. There will be some photographs that have just been simply glued to the page, like this one. And then there will be some cabinet cards that I made. So to make these cards, I followed a tutorial by Lisa on the membership site, and it's called DIY Faux Antique Cabinet Cards. So I printed all the fronts and then all the backs on 2 different sheets. I used a fairly thick cardstock and then I glued them together and then I cut them so that you don't need to worry too much about aligning them. Then I gently sanded the edges and then stained them slightly with some tea or coffee. On the left you can see an original carte de visite, and on the right is a replica that I created, and you can see that they actually look quite realistic. The backs that are available on the membership site are really authentic and they're beautiful, and then when you combine them with these beautiful photos you do actually get a very realistic cabinet card or carte de visite. So this is a portrait from the DG People bundle, and I also painted dots on her shirt. I wanted to show you how I did it. So there's a lot of them available and I decided that I was going to create these sheets. So I added a neutral background so that way when I fussy cut I don't need to worry too much about the sharp white strips that might be around the silhouettes. I'm still being very careful when I cut them, but if I do miss something I'm getting a little bit of this off-white color, so it's just a little tip to make it a little bit easier for you. So this is a cyanotype that I printed myself onto some brown paper. More image transfers. Another cabinet card. And then throughout I did some one continuous line sort of drawings of faces or people. This is a cabinet card that I attached with a piece of washi tape. So washi tapes are really cool because you can print in one sheet quite a few and then you can decide which ones to use. They're super easy. You could print them onto adhesive paper to make it even easier. I just printed them on normal paper and glued it, and then that way I can have this little bit of secret journaling that can happen underneath. This is a little tag that I created. I used a vintage playing card. I glued one of the cabinet cards on the front, and then I used an embroidery floss wrapping here, punched a hole through, put some twine and a bead, and it just slides in here. I made a pocket with some lace, which I thought would look really nice with her dress, and she slides in there. This is one of the Instant Ancestors collage pages that I stained with my rust technique, and it just gives it that grungy old look that I really like. I also used this for something at the end as well. This is another cyanotype on fabric that I stitched with some red yarn. This is a tiny little cabinet card that I made, and I used some temporary body tattoos both on the cheesecloth and on the card, which sort of match the pattern on her kimono. This is a little waterfall slider, and these are the only original photos that I used in the book, and it's called Generations. This is a tiny journal that I made. So I had this vintage black cardstock, so I just glued it on the back of this card, and then I used some tiny scraps of paper that I had on my desk to create a little journal. This is another fragment from the collage pages. And finally, there's a little vintage envelope in here, in which I put a tiny little folded paper book. To make this, I followed my friend Jane Chip's tutorial on the membership site, and I took one of the Instant Ancestors collage pages 5x7, printed it onto an A4 sheet, and then I followed her technique to fold it and cut it so that I could create from one sheet this tiny little journal that sits here in the last page of the journal. And that's the end. I hope you like my journal. Thank you for watching.